All right, we can open the meeting. I'll make the first announcement that the meeting is being taped by Area 58. Because it's being taped, anyone who is going to address the board would ask you to come up to the microphone so that we can actually get it recorded. Sometimes people talk in the back of the room and it doesn't happen. So when I call on you, if you're going to talk, come up to the microphone and just introduce yourself. First order of business, if you join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to begin the meeting tonight with just a brief comment and a recognition of the passing of John Campbell. For those of us who have had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Campbell, he was a wonderful gentleman. Lived in Halifax, I think something along the order of 60 years, and was involved in Halifax projects for 60 years in the Council on Aging. And in particular, I don't think there's a building in town that he doesn't have his name on. He helped rebuild this building. He helped rebuild all the buildings in town and was a wonderful man. Unfortunately, died about a week ago. Services were today, and I think personally I'll miss him, and I'm sure the town certainly has a loss of a wonderful citizen.
Yeah. And to echo what you said, I met John through my work with the playground with Friends of Hops, and whenever we needed anything printed, it was always go talk to John, and I'd ask John, hey John, can you help us with that? And his answer was always whatever you needed. Never charged the town a dime. So just a good man. You could tell he was salt of the earth kind of guy. So I echo your sentiments.
Yeah, I'm the same way. He was a family friend to my whole family. He always helped us out whenever we needed it in the town. I knew him since I was born, but he'd give you the shirt off his back. Great guy. Definitely a loss for the town.
A real loss to the town. Okay, approval of Selectmen minutes. Regular session September 12th and executive session September 26th. We have a motion?
So
moved.
Yeah.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Warrants and commitments?
I move to approve the following warrants and commitments. Vendor warrant number 29 for $481,056.95. School warrant number 31 for $350,000, $947.83. Ambulance commitment from 9/18/2023 to 9/24/2023 for $56,219.63. Ambulance commitment from 9/25/2023 to 10/1/2023 for $38,003.82.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We actually have a 6 o'clock appointment of Ed Bryan. Mr. Bryan's here somewhere. Oh, hi. Come on up if you would. Sorry about that. I didn't see it was at 6 o'clock, and I didn't want to keep you waiting. So this is an appointment to the Finance Committee. This would be just by the board, is that right?
This one is because it's filling a term.
Filling a
It's not
term.
new.
Okay, and his term would end when? Do you know?
June 15, 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ending in 26?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we like to meet. First of all, thank you for your interest. It's very helpful. I have looked at your talent bank, and it's impressive. We appreciate citizens like yourself coming in. I think this Finance Committee is one of the best places in the world to get an education. It's not easy work, but you do see the whole town from top to bottom and inside and out, and you really learn a lot, so it's a wonderful thing. Why don't you tell us what your interest is, though?
Sure. So I work up at the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority, which is a state job. I've done that now for 18 years, and I've always had an interest in the numbers that go with it. I work in the IT side of things, but I've always had an interest in the numbers that go with that. Another thing that's important to me is community involvement. I think it's important for us to be involved, whether it's for our kids or for the community as a whole. I know this position has been vacant, or there's been a vacancy on the Finance Committee for some time now. So I saw it out there and I thought about it for a while and said, I enjoy the number side of it, the finance side of it, and I like to be involved with things that are going on. So I threw my name in a hat and here I am.
Very good, excellent. Anybody from
No,
the board?
I appreciate you stepping forward and, just thank you for coming out and helping the town.
Of course.
With the chairman of the
Definitely.
finance, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, definitely. Appreciate you. Because I'm not good with the numbers, so it's. That's it.
Some people do have I was on the finance committee for 5 years, and people have some misconception about it. It's not accounting so much as it is, I have to understand numbers, obviously, but it's more a matter of allocation of resources, which is really what budgeting is all about. It's like we have a certain amount of resources, money, that we can only, we'd like to have more, we'd like to do more, but we can't, so we need to make priorities and such like that, and that requires a judgment, and I think that's really where the value of the finance committee comes in. It's not, we have a very excellent accountant, but we don't have, what we do need are citizens like yourself who are interested in their community and want to see the priorities right.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and when I spoke to the finance committee, that's one of the things that we talked about was the priorities as far as safety and security and infrastructure and things along those lines. So there is definitely a challenge that comes with it, for
Oh, yeah.
sure, when it comes to prioritizing what needs to happen. But I think through working together with everyone that's in the room, it's certainly something that we can achieve. So I look forward
Excellent.
to it.
Excellent.
Ed, do you think that you can find that happy medium between service and cost? You know what I'm saying? Where you walk that fine line between, you want to provide as much service as possible, but you also have to keep an eye on that bottom line. So are you okay, are you kind of more a happy medium kind of guy, or are you kind of one side or the other on that?
I like to be a happy medium. I think that decisions are hard to be, that when they have to be made, and I think you have to take all the different factors into consideration before making a decision. So not being knee-jerk, I think, is important, particularly when you're dealing with taxpayer dollars. That's something that you have to really think about before you make decisions.
In full disclosure, I've known Mr. Bryan since we were this high, and I can tell you he is a man of character and an intelligent asset to the town, so I'm excited to have him on board. And just, I think, because of that history, I think I will abstain from the vote, just so that there's any sort of concerns about any perceptions or anything. So just to get that out there, I want to make sure that everyone knows that I feel like Mr. Bryan can do a great job regardless of whether I know him or not, but just in the essence of everything, I think I'll abstain
Okay.
from the vote.
Todd, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Chairman of the Finance Committee?
Todd Dargy, Finance Committee. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the Finance Committee last week interviewed and voted unanimously to recommend Mr. Bryan for the final vacancy on the committee. I think he has like over 13 years residency in the town of Halifax, and he's working with very large budgets in his RT department, as you mentioned. So very good numbers, and certainly would be a welcome addition to the team. So, like I mentioned, we voted unanimously to recommend him for the final position, which will also, bring the committee to a full 7-person body, which is something that we haven't had in quite some time.
Yeah.
So very excited for that and for Mr. Bryan to join.
Okay. Great. All right, I'll make the motion then, unless someone else has a comment, to appoint Mr. Bryan to the Finance Committee with a term ending in 2026.
I will second it.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, abstentions?
Abstain.
Passes unanimously. Congratulations and welcome aboard. You're about to start the busiest time of the year. Okay, so I'm a little behind, but we have Cam Russell, Eagle Scout Project. Is this Cam?
This is Cam.
All right.
Hey, Cam.
If you want to turn that down a little bit so you can actually talk into it.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Cameron Russell, an Eagle Scout candidate from Ship 39, Halifax in town. And I'd like to propose a building display. We look
Yeah.
on the pamphlet for you guys. On page 2. This is what it's going to look like.
That one?
So I'm going to go on page 3. As you know, I know that.
And Kim, you can tell us these are examples of what the boards are, but this is not what's gonna be on them. Why don't you tell us what's gonna be on the boards?
If you go to the final page, I'm gonna put like what each fold represents type thing. And then I'm gonna put a picture of the folds next to the meeting. And then I put on the right, like a little detail about what the ball stands for on top of the American flag.
What, so I'm not sure, you want to put this tablet somewhere in town?
Yeah, so right, another flagpole right down on the town hall.
Town green flag.
Oh, the one in the front? Okay. Okay, and it'd just be one tablet, just one tablet? And the tablet would have instructions, this whole flag instruction set, that's what would be on the tablet, that right there? I see, okay. All right, and when would you like to start it, or when would you think you'll have it done?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday? Is that your scoutmaster talking?
I'd like to start working on it, as soon as possible, maybe like Saturday.
Oh, it's all right, so you're ready to go? Okay.
All right.
There it is.
And it would be in place before, say, Memorial Day?
Hopefully before November.
Okay,
Hopefully before November 1st.
before
Oh, so in time
before
for
Veterans Day? Oh, that would
Oh,
be
that'd
even
be
better.
fantastic.
Awesome.
That would be even better. Okay, very good. All you need from us is permission to do it, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for the board?
No, I'd just like to commend Mr. Russell. He's, I've known, this is like old home week for me. I've known Cam,
You know everybody.
I've known Cam since he was a tiny guy too, and he's an exemplary young man. His father was a great man in Scouts. Honored to know all the Russells, so I'm excited and I wholeheartedly support this project without a doubt. Excited to see it, Cam.
Fantastic. Okay. And
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. And not many people know what all the folds and everything are.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It'd be great to be right under the flagpole. And I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, there will be a description
Yeah.
of the 13 folds and what they represent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know what that even
I even learned something about the ball. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was just reading that. I was like,
Yeah, it's really cool. So,
Yeah.
this is museum quality. I went out to the Museum of Science and I talked to someone there and found out who makes all your displays. And it's this company, Upland Displays out of Connecticut, and they're willing to make this at a
Awesome.
discounted rate. So it's going to be high quality, weatherproof, no maintenance to the town.
awesome.
And it doesn't need to be lit, so.
I think it's a great idea.
We're just gonna cement it in the ground next to the pole where Cam and you guys decide that'll be it.
Awesome.
And that was Peter Burgess, Scouts. Got to identify yourself for the
Peter
big.
Burgess, Scoutmaster.
There you go. Big brother is watching, Peter.
And you know me a long time.
I do too. I know.
Hold on. Who don't you know?
I know.
Ready?
Actually, I know everybody here, I think. Actually, do.
So don't say anything anymore.
All right, I won't.
you could be the host. Probably would suggest you talk with the highway surveyor about just the, the exact placement of it.
Sure.
Because he has to cut the grass around it. And he might want to know, might have an input on how to do that. I can't think of anybody else that would be.
No, I think if you go out and mark where you're thinking,
Yep.
we'll have our team look at it, and
Sure.
as long as it's okay, we'll let you know, and you'll be good to go.
Does that fall under Stephen Haywood or?
Yes, Steve
Yeah,
Hibbert. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Awesome. Good luck, Cam.
Or actually Scott Materna. I
I'd say
suppose.
Steve and Scott. So if you just, if you mark it, we'll, and let us know once it's marked, we'll have them take a look.
Perfect, thank you.
They're going up there right now. We can spray paint that right now.
I'll call Steve. It's already done.
That's it. Yeah. One of them snuck out real
Somebody
quick.
else.
I went, all right.
Probably.
So Cam is my 37th Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Congratulations.
I'd like to thank you too, Peter, for all your work too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Halifax has a very long tradition of Eagle Scouts. It's amazing how many people come through here to become an Eagle Scout. It's a
So
real
a bit
good
of
thing.
Story, we produce, out of 62 communities, Halifax produces more Eagle Scouts than anyone in council.
I believe it.
And that's a fact.
That's
It's been that way for a long time.
A
So
long time.
very good.
Yeah, a lot
You
of you guys come through.
follow Jack Mather and Dick Campbell and all those guys. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Peter's boys are grown and through the program, but yet you're still helping out. So that's.
I'm passing the torch. I'm always taking over.
But
Excellent.
That's
It's a great
appreciate-
town, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Appreciate the dedication you have.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion?
I'll gladly make a motion to okay
Thought you might.
Cam Russell's Eagle Scout project.
Okay, we have a second?
I will definitely second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Congratulations and good luck.
Awesome.
All right, well, we're still behind, so the one-day liquor license, Michael Johnson, is Mr. Johnson here, or we're just going to deal with the license? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We can,
I just moved them up, so once they got here, we could take them. So
Okay.
if they get here a little later, that's fine.
Yeah. You know what, do you have my
See you, Mom.
yeah, that's fine.
streets?
Do you want to do Bob Valerie next, the update on public health grant?
And there we go.
You know, my comment.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I don't have to do
All right, why don't we,
everyone else's.
since our appointments, I don't know, Mr. Barone's here.
Pete's here.
So we'll deal with you in a few minutes, but why don't we take Mr. Valerie here? Yeah, Valerie, sorry about that.
Bob Valerie.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Bob. Nice to meet you.
Apologize.
I'm Bob Valerie, the outbound agent for the town of Halifax.
Thank you.
So, if you haven't met me, now you have.
I have.
I said I knew most of the Eagle Scouts. Didn't know them all, but I knew most of them. This is just information about what we're speaking about tonight. And actually, John, you resonated budgets and finance committee and such. Well, this topic hits right on home with it.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to secure a public health excellence grant. It came about, unfortunately, because just before the pandemic, the state had been doing a blueprint on where and what they felt public health should be doing. COVID hit, and afterwards they realized how under-resourced, underfunded, and perhaps not even trained correctly in their areas. So it was like an eye-opening experience that we had to get through. Fortunate thing about that is that there's a distinct goal. It's prevention through education, disease tracking, enforcement of the existing sanitary codes. And then, what's the actual inspectional process? Is it done correctly? So, the grant itself, funded through the state, through the SAFRI Act, which I just, listed quickly. It establishes a minimum public health standard for communities. It increases capacity and effectiveness by incentivizing shared services, create a uniform data collection and reporting system, and increase, near to my heart, is equity across communication through dedicated, sustainable state funding. So, basically, the state's going to fund us to do anything above and beyond where we are and what we want to do, at least through 27. Still means we can't supplant funding, but we can. If a restaurant requires 2 a year by the state, if that restaurant's not right, I can do 3 a year. I can do 4 a year. Costs the town nothing. All that comes through the grant monies that we have. So, why did Halifax join in being a host community? Well, first of all, the blueprint was out there. If you weren't on the train, chances are you were going to get run over by it. There are 351 towns in Massachusetts that are part of this grant. And there are 77 collaborative communities, Halifax being one of them, which runs East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater, Middleborough, Raynham, and us. And regular Bridgewater, sorry. Yeah, Bridgewater, those three. So, that having been said, we've been identified as probably, well, certainly within the top 5 within the state of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Because again, we follow, which I gave you, what you can do and what you can't do. And it's all regulated by rules, laws, regulations that are already in place. So now, I have a pool of resources of 6 other towns, 6 other credentialized health agents that can make informed decisions. We've created an advisory board, so it's not just Bob Valerie saying, hey, I want to do this. All of us collaborate, and then we come to the best possible solution on where and when we see a problem. What we've already done is, there's the advisory board, purchased a lot of inspectional supplies. If you don't have the tools to do your job, you really can't do it, okay? My predecessor, Kathy, let me tell you, she had more tools in my toolbox than I knew what to do with. Didn't even know how to use half of them, okay? But decibel meters, air meters, the respirators. We go into a lot of situations that may not be the most sanitary home conditions. So all the PPEs, so we purchased to make sure all the towns had that. They didn't have it. So now they can do their job at least, and if they need training, those resources are definitely available to them. And one of us can always help train the other now. So much more communication, I'll tell you. We also just stepped out of the box and bought 25 power outage go packs that each 25 per town, so that we could identify. It's been on surveys. We have a very high elderly population in all of the towns, very high disability population. There's a lot more data that's coming out on these surveys that they're doing. So we collectively came up with the same approach to hand these out. Personally, I use the mobile home estates because we had that power windstorm, all that's a perfect time. So now they have a supply of, it's got radios in it, batteries, to at least keep them going. Not everybody has a generator. So we're trying to hit anybody that's been historically underserved. I mean, they get left behind. It doesn't, it's not color, it's not age, it's whomever. Let's group everybody together in the word they use as equity. But I call it historically underserved populations. We have tobacco control going on. We just hired a full-time inspector for housing and to do food inspections. And where we're looking to move forward, the big point is that it's time for the public to take action and for the public to be involved. That's why I asked to speak here tonight, is I want individuals, we want individuals to make informed decisions on what's happening in public health initiatives. I want them to hear both sides of the story. We can say mask, don't mask. Vax, don't vax. I'll tell you why you might be able to vax or might want to vax. I'll tell you why maybe nutrition is the way to go. I'll tell you probably your best bet though is to weigh the risk versus reward of what you're gonna, whatever actions you do participate in. So I want fair messaging to go out so that individuals make their own decisions. I don't want to regulate that decision. I'll guide, but certainly I really believe that the money is for the community and the community gets to use it how, when, where, and how they want. So the more input I can get from the, community, I'll be thrilled. Really looking into improving our risk communication messaging. What sources are we using? We're getting it off of Facebook, we're getting it out of the newspaper. I found at mobile home estates, it was actually AM radio. You know the last time I used AM radio? Can't tell you, okay? But, get it out the right way. Do I have to print up 150 pamphlets and have them, distributed at the mobile home estates? If we do, if that's the right way to get the message out, that's how you do it. So I'm not just focusing in, okay, we put out a service announcement. And certainly, we can do things differently. We have funding to do it, great increase actually, that's good through 27. And we can keep this thing very fluid and evolving. Because if you're not able to bob and weave, block and tackle as things come in, then I don't think you'll be truly effective. So I just wanted to give an overview that told the community, yourselves, money is all through the Board of Health. But as you know, we work together, We can agree to disagree, but we're two separate boards. But, the more you guys know about what we do, and the more we know about what you do, and the more I might know about what accounting does, finance does, sort of, I just think open communication, total transparency is the way to hit the ground running from the start, so.
Very
I
good.
appreciate you guys, giving me a few minutes of your time.
Do you need anything from us, or this was just an informative thing for us?
It's very informative, and the reason being, what I found with the 6 towns is we have 5 very different operating governments.
Yeah.
So not only do I have the state saying, this is sort of what we, want, I still have the ability, see, each Board of Health still acts independently. Some towns don't have a Board of Health. They're required by state to have a Board of Health. However, their bylaws, their town runs, Raynham and Middleborough specifically, have the Select Board runs the health department. Okay? But so, then the dynamics of, does the health agent really talk to the select board? Or does the health agent only deal with his board? Or that there's, that was the hardest part of getting this thing off the ground, was trying to figure out, you're the health agent? And you really, do they entrust you with power, or do they just, pull the strings for you? Pull everybody in, get us all together, and then when town administrators are together, they can talk it out. Just say, hey, this is what we're seeing, what we're not seeing. We have our meetings, we have a Mass Health Officers Association meeting in October, we all do. I'm not positive yet, but the state's asked me to speak there because we're really doing what we're supposed to do, and sort of blazing the trails for how far we've got in as short a time, because we only got the money in 2023. I had 2 towns that had no health agent. I had 2 towns that had no administrative assistant. So what happens is, I build everything from the foundation up. A lot of things come down from the top, but to me that's like a roof. And if you put the roof on before your foundation and the rest of the building's stable, it's destined for doom. So I said, hold on, I need to get my administrative assistants in place and trained. I need to get the health agents credentialized, trained, and ready to go. And then we can start to build some framework, and then we can put the roof on. And I have, I guess, till 27 to get it done. But I don't expect it to end, but that's where I'm going with this whole project, and just appreciate the time.
No, it
You
sounds
guys
like
get to listen to me babble.
No, no.
Yeah.
I want, if you don't mind, Bob, I just wanted, the three things that stick out to me. Number one, I feel like it's a feather in the cap for Halifax, that you are kind of running point on this. I think that speaks to a lot of you and Peggy and the job you guys do at the Board of Health here.
Unfortunately, Peggy.
Yeah, you are. She's awesome. So I feel like Kathy did a tremendous job, and you are doing an honor to her memory to follow in her footsteps. And we have a solid health department here, so I appreciate you guys and the work you do. That's the first thing I think of. The other thing is this is going to give us more coverage, right? As far as the level of service for health in this town. So I think residents should be excited that this exists, and that, like you say, it's not going to cost us anything extra, but we're going to get extra services, which I'm all for. That's fantastic.
And to your point, so any job that's hired, any service that's done, Sandy, okay, having to do any, the bills and stuff, paid for out of the grant.
Right, right. And then,
And their fringe benefits. So we're not on the hook for us paying if they're, for any of the sick time,
Right.
vacation time, any
Right.
of that. All paid through the grant. And when the grant ends, their
This-
service ends.
that was the third thing I thought of, is when this goes away, we're not on the hook to continue it.
No, as a matter of
If it
fact,
does, hopefully it doesn't go away, but if it does, we're still
it
okay.
does. Hopefully, we've laid some of that foundation work in other towns so that at least they'll keep a ball rolling. And also, what I failed to mention too is when an agent's down and out, now the 6 towns can collectively use another agent to
You
go
can
in,
cover.
do a soil evaluation, do any kind of coverage. So that's been a huge benefit.
Yeah,
And East Bridgewater realized that they didn't have any kind of funding to support if something went wrong. And they got a little over $25,000 out of the town budget to deal with the problem that they had without a health agent for about a 4-month period. But we didn't let them sink during that 4-month period.
right.
I helped them as much as we could, but also said, guys, you gotta get on board here.
Yeah.
It's ultimately your responsibility to pay that bill, so.
Yeah, no, it's better health in the region. And again, kudos to you and to Peggy for steering the ship. Great job.
Hey, just tell me if there's any direction you guys want me to go in.
Forward is great.
Forward would be good. Well,
Steady as she goes.
Usually I take 1 step back and I
No.
take 2 steps forward.
How about a list of recommended restaurants?
Oh.
Yeah, who's got the cleanest kitchens in town?
Just something I find funny in this is, I inspect a lot of restaurants. I'd be happy to tell you anything about how their food safety and food handling methods are. Some of the restaurants, I've never even eaten the food, don't even want what's on the menu. I mean, this is the second town that I've, been in, and there was a fancy restaurant. I'm like, huh? I don't want quail, So, yes, our restaurants are, from a food safety standpoint, great. From the taste of their food, I guess everybody has a different sense of taste and smell.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, so let's jump right to Mr. Barone. You have a proposal for us on the recreational fields.
How you doing? Pete Barone, I run girls softball, baseball in town, and would like to put up a scoreboard at Pond, which is the complex next to the police station for the girls. So we raise money through a big tournament we have every summer. And Jonathan's a big part of the league helping out. We've gone down there and we've, spec'd out where we go. We want to put up one scoreboard, and I think, was there a picture when I sent?
Yep.
Actually took another one of West Bridgewater's because it's identical to what we want to do. and that thing did malfunction. I get back today, so I don't have a picture of that one. Basically, it's, we're paying for everything, and it goes up on 2 poles. Steve Haywood, I already talked to Steve, they're gonna put those up for us. He's gonna be in touch with the salesman from Scoreboard Enterprises, and they're gonna give him the dimensions and all that. And then, excuse me, Halifax Maintenance, Scott, they're gonna run the wire. You don't have a picture? Do we don't have a
I got one right here.
You have a
Is this one here? It's the one
Oh,
you're
that's the
talking about?
scoreboard itself.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna go, if you're looking at the complex from the parking lot, it's a big brown shed in the rear. So to the left of that, which is like the corner of the complex, we went out and we kind of spec'd it out so you can see it from both fields. No matter what game is being played, you can see the scoreboard from either one. So Scott will run the wire, there's power in that shed. So he's only gonna run it, what, 12 feet?
Yeah, not a lot. Maybe 20 tops.
Already talked to him, he'll take care of that. We're paying for everything, and any expenses that highway department or maintenance incur, we'll cover that as well. Our plan is, talking to Steve, we'd like to get the poles in the ground now, before the ground freezes. Hopefully Scott can do his thing, and then we'll order it. And it takes a while to come in, so it probably won't come in until the spring, because we're in no hurry to get it, leave it lying around. And then putting it up is the easy part. Once all that stuff's done, it runs off a console, very similar to like basketball, you make a little one on scoreboard. That stays in the big shed, and then there's an app that all the coaches can put right in their phone, and they can do it right from their phone, turn it on and off, put up the scores. And it doesn't take a lot of power, it's all little LED lights. Scott wanted to know the voltage, I talked to the salesman, and the line that's in there now, which actually comes from the Brockton store, is more than enough for what he needs to get it going.
Make it work.
So that's what we'd like to do.
Okay. Would you consider this a donation to the town, or,
Yeah, technically they're
I
paying.
mean, who's gonna own it? The town will?
It's a
It'll
town
be on
property.
town
I think,
property.
we wouldn't take care of any, hopefully no vandalism or anything. I think it
Well,
should be high
yeah,
enough
no.
rules.
I'm just
Right next to
trying
the
to,
police station.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty great.
There's cameras on those houses.
We always said you can coach a game and leave your wallet on the.
I actually
You
have.
come back the next morning, it's still there. 'cause
Yeah.
it's right next to the police.
yeah, I'm not concerned with that. I'm just trying to
I've
think
left
about
it there for a day.
how this would.
It's almost gonna be the same.
It'd be part of our,
It was a little bit bigger than the one that's in the gymnasium at the.
Yeah, we'd have
It's
to,
4x9.
probably
Yeah.
part of a
It's
property.
a possibility we're gonna put a 1-foot top on it, which will have Halifax girls softball, but he hasn't come back to me with the specs and more importantly, the price to add that to it. So it's 4x9 in what you have there.
Yep.
But it could go to 5x9 if we get that
Extra topper.
lead plate topper, yeah, on the top, so.
Okay, so how would the motion be as,
Just vote to
permission?
allow, to allow them to proceed with scoreboard.
Okay. Any questions from?
No, I want to thank Pete for all his work.
No, it's
I
good.
mean, we have Summer Smash every year. It's the biggest town softball tournament in New England, Pete, would you say, as far as town
Easily in
teams?
New England.
Yeah, on the East Coast almost.
That's another
So-
one, a long-standing,
Yeah, this will be
Wow.
our 20th year next summer, so, yeah, I know you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into our league stuff, so, no, appreciate it.
okay, so do we have a motion, Mr. Seelig?
Sure, I would be honored to make a motion to allow Halifax softball to erect a scoreboard at Vaughan. Do you need any details, or is that good enough, Cody?
That's
I
fine.
think that'll do it. We have a second?
I'll second it.
Any
It's a great
discussion?
idea.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you. Good job.
All right. So the only one appointment that we haven't done yet is the,
Michael Johnson, he's still not here. For the liquor license.
one-day liquor
there.
license. Here it is, right here. It's-
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you, Bob.
So we can go up to the other stuff here, let him, give him some more time to come.
You think he's going to come?
If not, we can push the next meeting. It's not looking until November.
Yes, it's on the 24th and the 26th.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, all
We
right.
need to push it to October 24th.
Sure.
Okay, all
Road
right.
openings and other
So
stuff.
why don't we we'll just defer that, unless he shows up tonight, we'll just defer it until next time.
You guys are gonna approve the warrants.
Yep.
Okay, so now we have the warrants and commitments. Yep.
Move to approve the following warrants commitments. Payroll warrant number 30 for $422,609.85. Vendor warrant number 32 for $1,449,127.17. Mobile home park fee number 10 for $5,148.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Road opening permit for 200 Oak Street. This is Eversource.
Yes, so we have a road opening, 200 Oak Street, 4x6 cut in the road to do gas maintenance. It has been signed off by everybody.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the road opening for, what is this, 200 Oak Street?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay. The next one is 659 Monpont Street.
Yep, so there's a request from Eversource for a 4x6 road cut to do gas maintenance, 659 Monpont. It has been approved by everybody, and there are some stipulations from the highway department, so if you approve this, I would just make that with the stipulations as outlined by the highway department.
All right, I'll make that motion that we approve this road cut with stipulation that it needs to be approved by the highway department?
Yeah, they have some stipulations.
Oh, I have some stipulations, and I'm sorry, yeah.
To the permits.
Yep.
So we'll be
Right.
going out with that.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? It's unanimous. Okay, this is Halifax Trails we're talking about here, right? The next one?
Yes, so 265 on Ponset, this is the Thorndike development, who's come before you several times. I wanted to provide you with an update. We've been working since the board authorized me to negotiate with them on a master development agreement and the draft zoning. We actually met earlier today, and with the assistance of town council, we were able to nail down the zoning language to be proposed at the special town meeting in December. We're working through the master development agreement. We're hopeful that at your October 24th meeting, we will look to have Thorndike in to present the master development agreement, which basically will outline our obligations, and then as long as all of that goes through, their obligations to us, which would consist of them providing financial assistance to us to build a senior center, and ours basically consist of bringing the articles forward to town meeting, and then if town meeting passes it, then we move forward. In your packet, you have the zoning language there. It basically outlines everything that we have spoken about in creating that overlay district. So it would be, the actual language would be to amend section 167-4, enumeration of districts, by adding a new subsection H. And the subsection H is to create a senior housing overlay district. And it details, persons 55 plus of age or older. It has the minimum lot size. It has the density, which for that specific area would be up to 20 units per acre, which allows them to get that size of a complex. Parking requirements, setbacks, anything you would see in an overlay district of requirements. So what I would request the board to do would be, let's see, basically recommend this to the planning board so they can start the public hearing process so this can get on the town meeting. So it's not necessarily approving it, it's just the board recommending it to the planning, and then they start their process. So the actual motion would be that the Board of Selectmen vote to pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 5, to refer to the planning board the zoning text and map amendments presented by myself, the town administrator, for scheduling of a public hearing thereof and their consideration thereof.
Okay, I'll make that motion just to get this on the table. So do we have a second to the motion?
A second.
All right, so any discussion?
No, I mean, I read through it as much as it makes sense to myself, I'll be honest, I'm not a lawyer. But it seems to make sense to me, and I know our council's looked at it. And I feel like with the senior center, it's definitely a project worth pursuing, so I will wholeheartedly recommend it to our next step.
No, I read through it earlier. Again, like Jonathan says, as far as I understand, and our council's looked at it.
Yeah, so this is a wonderful project, I think. again, that property on over there, they own it. Something's going to happen there. We know that. Right now, it's not just an eyesore. I believe it's a hazard. Open
is.
foundations, open sewer covers. I mean, it's just not a safe place, and somebody could easily wandering there, being a youth, and getting into some kind of trouble. So I'm happy to see it done. I like the project. I like what they've described to us. I think they've been gentlemen to work with, as far as I can tell. I mean, it's just been work, and this is what needs to be done, and I don't have any problem with it. So I think it's a great idea.
And it's been a long time coming for a senior center.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, it's been too long, so it's exciting that there's a,
Tying in John Campbell, he was pushing for a new senior center for 30 years.
Yeah.
He made a whole bunch of
Well,
proposals, so
maybe consider the Campbell Senior Center. We'll take a
Something to
hard
think
on
about.
that.
something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, so the process
Very good.
begins.
Yes, this is very exciting. We'll have them in on the 24th. And also, they will be attending the zoning bylaw review committee meeting a week from today, the 17th.
Oh.
To start to go over these, because I think
Is
that
gonna-
committee,
That's going to come up on that, this is going to come up then?
yes, I'm going to have Thorndike in to present these changes and their counsel to
Oh.
go over them. I think, you guys play an integral role in that process, so it'd be
Oh,
good
okay.
to
Okay.
have this
Okay.
in front of that committee too.
Okay, good. I didn't realize that. That's good. Good. That's got to get, one of the things the zoning bylaw committee has to get finished, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, salary range for building commissioner position.
Yes,
As
so.
as a preface, I would just like to say, we've been searching for a new building commissioner since February,
March, yeah.
March. So, what's that, 9 months, 10 months, whatever.
Yeah.
We have very few leads. I've spoken to the town administrator myself about this on a bunch of occasions, because I know and I know he's working on it, but it seems to be our pay scale is just out of whack with what we'll be able to get. And that's not an unheard of thing in the town of Halifax. I've heard a lot of people complain about that in all different departments. But, so I think that's why we're going to be talking about it.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So basically, this comes as a result of, as Mr. Bruno said, we've been actively recruiting for this for some time. We really have not gotten a significant number of qualified applicants. And in my conversations with some other commissioners in Massachusetts, and speaking of, what could we do to try to, get a commissioner in here, it really comes down to compensation, right, as a whole, being our benefits and the salary being offered. Obviously, as Mr. Bruno said, this is kind of common throughout many of our positions, and we're undergoing the compensation and classification study to rectify that. But the concern with this is, so we've had Steve Solari, who has been amazing.
Fantastic.
To serve as our interim building commissioner, and he's been working regularly for us, after hours, weekends, to get the job done, and I think he's gotten it done very well. Nothing has lapsed. But as we go into the winter, it's getting more difficult for him to work the evening hours because it gets darker earlier. So we really need to get somebody on board here full-time. So in my research, part of the compensation and classification study, they have identified our comparable communities, which they use a whole host of metrics, and they did pass those along to me, and through that I was able to just do some quick research on the existing salaries of building commissioners in those communities. And so I provided that in your packet. The average salary of those communities currently is $92,891. And the median salary is $95,698.28. So you pair that, our current range tops out at $79,600 approximately. So it's very difficult to recruit. So what I would like to see in the interim, until we get the classification study back, is to do a temporary adjustment to this position. I'd bring it to you first, and then I would bring it to the Finance Committee, which is technically comprises Wage and Personnel, and change this to a grade 12A position, which would establish the range of $81,880 to $90,999. And my hope is with that, we are closer to the market even with that, we're still actually under, if you look at the average and the median, but we're closer. And, you know, Halifax is a desirable community to work in. So I think with this adjustment, we can hopefully recruit somebody to join our team.
So one of the things that I've been pestering Cody with, pretty much since he got here, is we have what appear to be abandoned buildings in town, right? I know at least two, plus there's another one with a junk in the front yard. That's building commissioner stuff, and our current fill-in commissioner really doesn't have the time to address that stuff. There's things like that that need to be done, and I think, you know, we've waited a long time to try to get somebody on board.
Sure.
It's part of the reason why the other commissioner left had to do with qualifications. They're not easy qualifications to get. Years ago, it wasn't so hard, you know, you could pretty much appoint anybody to do it, right? But nowadays, especially at the commissioner level, as opposed to a building inspector, which is what we require, it takes education, it takes, you know, experience, it takes a lot.
Certifications,
So
yeah.
it is a very professional occupation nowadays, as opposed to maybe what it was years ago. So, I mean, I think we have to do something to get it moving, and if this is what we think has to be done, then I'm in favor of it, so.
Yeah, I think all our positions are important, but I think we all agree this is one of the more important ones in town. You know, and to go since March without having one, I think we're not doing the town a service to, and Steve, as you say, has been fantastic, but he's told us he can, you know, only go as far as he can, and he needs to dial it back a little bit, so. With this adjustment, we're still not gonna be setting any market or anything. We're still well below other towns, but at least this might get us a little sniff from somebody. So I'd be all for it.
All right, so what do you want, a motion, or?
Yeah, so I would say a motion to temporarily move the building commissioner position to grade 12A.
And then Cody, can I just ask, I know we're doing the wage and personnel, could you explain maybe what would happen when we get those results back in regards to this position?
So this position will be classified like all of the other positions in town as part of our new classification, wage and classification plan. And then, you know, that will be the new range for that position. I am quite confident that any salary we were to start an individual within this range, 12A, would be in the new range, because I think when you look at the comparable communities, this
Sure.
is still under
Still
the average
considerably
there. Our maximum would still be under the average of the other communities. So I feel very confident that we'd still be in the range. We certainly wouldn't be overpaying somebody.
Again, just to remind ourselves about what the process is, I think the Wage and Personnel bylaw says the Wage and Personnel Committee can make this temporary adjustment. The Wage and Personnel Committee is now a combined committee, so will we have to have another meeting with Finance?
No, it's the wage and personnel is made up of FinCom and Board of Selectmen, as you know. So as long as you vote it and they vote it,
We don't have to do it jointly?
no, it doesn't have to be done
Okay.
jointly.
Okay.
At least there's nothing in the bylaw that specifically
No,
says
that's
it.
one of the problems with
Yeah.
that bylaw. It doesn't say anything about anything. It just says, here you go.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Who came up with that idea? I'm glad it wasn't me, so. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the temporary adjustment as requested by the town administrator.
I'll make the second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or-
Send in those applications.
Yeah.
Halifax is a good town.
I see we have a recent
town.
visitor. Are you here on a scheduled appointment?
No, I'm not. No, I'm just listening, but.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure, I don't want you to think we ignored you. Okay, so we'll go on to our updates.
Yes, MBTA action plan. I have a meeting scheduled with our consultant who is conducting the study, Ezra Glenn from MIT, later this week. He will have some draft of a report to present, and then my goal is to get him into the zoning bylaw review committee sometime soon to present his recommendations initially, and then he still is hoping to do some training for our planning and zoning board of appeals sometime, hopefully late October, early November.
Good.
Morse Brothers, we did receive an application for earth removal from them. We are in the process identifying our public hearing date So I think Mr. Bruno got back to me today, so we can nail down that date. I'll provide that as soon as I have it. We'll post that, we'll have that in the newspaper. We'll send that out to all of our departments for their review. Make
On
sure
the
that-
website?
Yep, it'll be, yep, we will make sure it's on the website, in the newspaper. We'll discuss it at the next meeting. We can announce when that is, and we'll go through the process as defined by the board, that the board has approved for that.
Yeah, can we make sure that, excuse me, that the process that we approved for this hearing is also part of all of our announcements?
Absolutely.
Just,
And we'll post it.
I don't want to have to explain it over and over again. I just want it one time and let's just move along.
Sure,
and do it.
and we'll post that, when we post the notice online, we'll also post a copy of
Okay.
those, just so people are aware of
All right.
the process that's
Good.
anticipated.
Thank you.
So that's all I have on Morse Brothers.
All right.
Training for boards and committees. We continue to look for opportunities. Like I said, the MBTA Action Plan consultant is looking to do some training. We're doing some training, we're doing a 3-part training series for our department heads in October and November that everyone has been invited to. We're also doing some training through our HR legal counsel. He's going to provide some training on FMLAs, which will be good to our departments. And that's it for training on boards and committees. As for town administrators update under town operations and staffing, so we're hopeful that with the increased compensation for the building commissioner, we can get someone on board here quickly. Where we conducted interviews for the outreach coordinator for the Council on Aging. We are conducting second rounds of interviews next week for that position.
Awesome.
We've scheduled interviews for the conservation agent for the 16th, I believe it is, so next Monday. We have a couple of very promising applicants for that, so we hope to get somebody on board. You can see the moves are pretty much all set here in Town Hall. Everyone's in place, kind of putting the finishing touches on. So again, Scott Materna and his team did an excellent job with that. The last 2 weeks ago, I recorded a first Cody's Corner, thanks to the name Jonathan.
attaboy.
So
I want residuals.
So it's going to be a monthly show that I'm going to record with Area 58, just to give the residents an overview, an update of what's going on in Halifax. So the first one really was just kind of an update on what we've done so far this year. And starting later this month, I'm going to bring in different individuals. I'll probably ask some of you to join me. I'll ask different departments to join me. I'm hoping to get in the school department either this meeting or next meeting to have them go over the changes to the regional agreement.
That's
And
good.
so that'll be aired. And if you have any recommendations, let me know.
You have, when you walk in, put on a cardigan,
Yeah.
take your shoes off, put your comfy loafers on. Yes. That'd be great.
You spend too much time at home.
I did, yeah. Well, too much TV.
Good for you. That's good work. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's very
Anything
exciting.
that gets the word out, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
So Area 58 sent me kind of a draft earlier. I'm going to review it and hopefully get that posted later this week. And as far as the school department, we're going to look to have them in to go over those changes to the regional agreement to this meeting next week, or I'm sorry, next meeting, the 24th. My thought was we have a joint meeting with the finance committee on the 24th, and this affects the finance committee as well. So, you know,
To
because-
go over the new agreement.
New agreement.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're actually, at that meeting, we're actually gonna kick off budget season 2. So the initial point of that meeting was to kick off our budget season and go over budget memo. And then it just so happened that I thought that would be a good time to also bring in the school department because there are financial implications of the new regional agreement.
So that, I expect that would take some discussion. I'm hoping that we don't take too many other appointments on, unless we
Yeah,
have to.
it'll be a pretty busy meeting between those things, so we'll try to keep it pretty light.
It's just hard to, like, I hate to keep people waiting if, you know, we get stuck on some topic and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
good.
Can I give a quick shout out too to Scott Materna and our crew for turning the town hall pink this month for honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Those that have driven by the town hall, you'll see it's quite striking. So
Yeah.
I think it looks fantastic and great work by Scott and Tom and Andy and Kurt and those guys to light it up. They've done a great job switching the lights and the theming and stuff. So just really pretty to drive by. So nice work.
Yeah.
Did, are they finished moving everything around?
They are. There's a couple of desks they have to finish putting together, but as far as being moved into spaces, that is complete.
All right.
Nice.
Is it reasonable for us to send them a letter thanking them for their services and their excellent, outstanding work?
Yeah, that's great. That'd be great if we can get that drafted. I'm actually going to provide them lunch later this week as a thank you, so we can present that letter to them during that lunch.
So I would make that motion that we do present a letter to the building committee. 'Cause they did do, I mean, we hire people to do a job. Don't expect them to get patted on the head every time they do their job. However, this was a big job, went smoothly from all indications that we hear, and certainly something that, a little bit extraordinary. So I think we should recognize it. We recognize the policemen and firemen, and I think sometimes some of the other departments don't get the public acclamation that they should.
Yep.
And
Here,
so
here.
I would make that motion.
Yeah, so gladly second that.
Okay?
Pam, help us out.
I'll do my best.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Irma, tag her into.
There you go. Yep, putting Miss Irma on it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Good.
There we go.
I like
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. Anything else that come before our discussion?
So we're just moving that last one, right?
Move Mr. Johnson to next meeting.
Tomorrow, or send him an email.
Okay.
Okay.
I know, is it similar to what they did last year? I don't want to,
It is similar, but it's a different company.
okay.
And another company, so he's doing Friday the 24th, and he's doing Sunday the 26th. And another company is supposed to be doing that Saturday, but I haven't heard back
I
from them.
know last year they had, I think, 3 different
They
companies, right?
did, yeah, so
Oh,
one
they
day
did?
Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
So this gentleman's doing 2 days.
2 of them.
Is it like 3 different breweries?
3 different
Yeah.
vendors, yeah, and 3 different days. It was actually quite nice, so,
I thought, we went there one day. I
Yeah.
thought it was very nice, yeah.
yep. Looking forward to hearing about it.
Looking forward to going.
Let's not jump into Christmas tree season just yet.
I'm not
Yeah,
worried
yeah.
about Christmas
No.
trees, it's the beer.
It's the, I know what you're thinking, Bruno.
You get rid of all my pumpkins first.
Bring one down the farm.
Yep.
That's right, we'll give Nezrel a pinch too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.